Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Avatar is best known as the movie series from James Cameron with cutting-edge special effects. There have been 2 movies so far with over 11 years between them, but now it seems like James Cameron is more committed to keeping the series alive quicker, and ventures into gaming is no exception to that. But is a movie tie-in game even going to be good? Let's find out by first looking at the gameplay. The gameplay of Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is going to be immediately reminiscent of Far Cry, which makes sense considering Ubisoft has some involvement, albeit not being the direct developers. The game is an open-world adventure with all the things you'd expect from an Avatar game: bows, guns, human machinery, and enemies. Where the game really shines is developing the world of Pandora between its lush environments and letting you explore on foot and by sky. It being an open-world game, expect plenty of objectives to complete for main missions and side missions. The game encourages you to approach your objectives whichever way you'd like, but it will be hard to stay stealthy as the enemies are pretty keen on finding you. But how about the story? To get you up to speed, there is a Na'vi ambassador program that is run by humans. Your playable character happens to be one of the Na'vi children in this program, also known as TAP. The RDA, or Resources Development Administration, heads the program, as well as all ventures on Pandora. It is quickly revealed that the Na'vi children in TAP have been abducted at a young age. Suddenly, events in the movie series with Jake Sully take place, and the kids are hidden away in cryosleep. Years later, the kids are rescued by the resistance in the area that is fighting against the RDA. So simply put, you are a native Na'vi who is thrust into fighting against the RDA in a resistance, just enough premise to tie into the movie series. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? Alright, I feel like you really need to actually be a big fan of the movie series to really enjoy this game. Not to say that you can't enjoy the game if you haven't seen the movies or if you're not a fan of the movies, but it really feels like it is catering to the crowd of people that have had an experience watching the movies and have already enjoyed that so much that they want to immerse themselves in the world completely. I didn't feel that. I didn't personally feel that, and I felt like a lot of the stuff that the game presented to me was already done in previous games, even in Far Cry itself, which at that point, why not just play Far Cry? Why play another game that's kind of
that sounds a tad harsh. I mean,
really,
I understand it's like Far
me,
Cry.
you know?
No, I hear you on that one, but I think one of the plus about this game is, though, it's like you don't even have to really watch the movies. It's its own separate story alone, so it kind of ramps you up pretty quickly into the world of Pandora and what it's all about.
But it kind of ramps you in there a little too quickly, I feel like. Like that intro especially felt a little bit sloppy in my opinion.
Well, do you think it's because of what you just referenced, though? It's because, this is a bit catered towards the people that are fans of the cinematic universe of Avatar.
Yeah, probably. Probably that is part of it at the very least. But I think if you're trying to build this world, you go through the intro cinematics and it's like there's a jump in time, and then there's another jump in time, and then there's another jump in time. It's like you didn't build up these characters, so how can I care about them? Because I have no connection to them outside of this 5 minutes of cutscenes. And sure, they've had a lot of experience together, but I didn't experience that.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, when you go into like cinematic scenes like you're describing inside of the video game, the game is locked in first person, so even when you go to the cutscenes, it goes into first person as well, and sometimes I kind of wanted to break away from that and actually see my character. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I'm not a gigantic fan of the Avatar cinematic universe, so I'll leave my bias away, but I gotta say, the world of Pandora in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is impeccable. It's phenomenal. I mean, they got over 3 regions to explore. It gave me kind of like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey kind of vibe where you can explore all the scopes of the land, which is very, very fun. And the combat is excellent. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest positives about the game. But after a while, you're going after these RDA camps, and it kind of feels like the layouts are a bit recycled on a level. And you sort of nailed it too. I mean, with a game like this and a story that's so iconic to some people, maybe not myself, but to others would completely disagree with me. What's awesome about Avatar for most people is the story. But with this video game, there is nothing story driven about it. The lack of story, the characters are unmemorable, and that's really what makes me not want to revisit this game. Some people might want to revisit it just because of the world to experience, but for myself, I didn't get that same kind of reaction after playing the game. What about yourself, HenricK?
I mean, the point you made is definitely true of the world being the high point of the game, which, I mean, when you look at the movies, that's kind of the high point of the movie too, is this
Yeah,
new world that everyone's having to explore for the first time, or at least the humans are exploring for the first time, and the viewers as well. And this game really does let you go a lot of places, like
a
you said,
lot
three
of places.
regions. And when you get a mount, you feel like, oh, okay, they're gonna probably limit me on where I can go. No, they let you go a lot of places with that mount.
Yeah,
So there's a lot to see, but it really does feel like it's just a lot of recycled stuff from other games on the underlying stuff. So if you're not that big fan of exploring a new planet and
yeah.
immersing yourself in it, you're kind of gonna it's gonna peter out for you
Yeah,
after a bit of
it's a bit
time.
recycled. You're doing the hunting and the gathering, and I felt like as you're playing the story, you do the less hunting, which I feel like they really wanted a lot of people to do, but you just
Yeah.
kind of sort of skip it and you just kind of jump along trying to figure out where the heck the story is going. And I'm not gonna spoil the plot for anybody, but there was so much available that was set up in the beginning of the game to really make it story driven, and they completely fell flat, which is so unfortunate. I think they can bounce back if they do want to follow up with the sequel. But again, the combat's so freaking fun. I mean, when you get to pick up the numerous style of guns, for example, like an electrified shotgun, and you get to rip an enemy out of their mech suit and just thrash them up against the wall. So much fun. But other than
Yeah.
that, I mean, we want to hear from you gamers. How are you guys vibing with it? Am I dead ass wrong? I'm calling a pause. How about yourself, HenricK?
Yeah, for me, it's a pause as well. I think that this game really falls into the trap of a lot of open world games where the narrative suffers as a result of it being an open world game. I
Yeah.
feel like their narrative probably would have actually been better if it was an open world. But at the same time, you
Mm.
wouldn't have gotten the same experience of
Yeah,
exploring and everything. So,
I'm with you
but
on
for me,
that
it's a
one.
pause, definitely.
Hey, well, you heard it from us. We're kicking off the year with pauses.